All right, we're going to head to the voicemail of Truth and Reason, and this is about Pete Prisco's power rankings that we had earlier in the week. Browns were ranked 10th in that one. So here's the voicemail of Truth and Reason.
Hi, James Fowler here. Hey, I'd just like to comment that looking at Pete Prisco's power rankings, I can't help but to notice that he's got the Chiefs and the Bills at 5 and 6, the Browns and the Ravens at, 9 and 10, and both the Chiefs and the Bills have lost to AFC North teams. The Bills by a nice little margin, too, when they lost to Pittsburgh. The Chiefs were beaten by the Ravens. They barely got past the Browns, losing the whole game until the last part of the fourth quarter before they took the lead. I don't understand why they're so high while the AFC North teams are 4 or 5 spots behind them. Thank you.
All right, that's a fair criticism. Again, I don't get caught up with the Browns being down at 10. They didn't play well against the Texans. But Pete Prisco had them lower than I thought he should have after the Chiefs loss as well. So
I agree with that, and the sentiment that he had there. I think Prisco and a lot of people, it's not just Pete Prisco, that every power poll, and I'm guilty of it too because I have to do one for Real GM as well. We have preconceived notions of what teams are going to be and what they aren't going to be going into the season, and it's hard to let those go after just 2 weeks. Everybody, myself included, had the Chiefs as the number one team in the AFC. They won the AFC title 2 years in a row. They deserve that benefit of the doubt. Now, through the first 2 weeks, have they been the AFC's best team? No, they have not. They haven't even been the best team in their own division. But it's difficult to balance, how far do you drop them? How much of it is the new season, they have a rebuilt offensive line. They have a lot of moving pieces and parts on their defense that haven't quite come together yet. You're still giving them some credit for being who they are and having Patrick Mahomes. And you're not necessarily worried about, the Raiders have looked really good. The Bills, what they did to Miami last week deserves a claim. Now, it also deserves an asterisk because Tua left, and I think that the Dolphins were just completely flat. But, this time of year, I think as long as you're within like 1 or 2 spots of where the teams are supposed to be, I think you're doing okay. I would say, though, that the Browns and the Ravens, quite frankly, are probably a little bit lower than they need to be in Briscoe's rankings. But, hey, who knows? It'll play itself out over the course of time. I prefer not to update power rankings until after 4 game periods. Do it after 4, 8, 12, and 16, or 17 in this case. And I think that's probably the more judicious way to go. So I wouldn't get too worried about it after 2 weeks. Now, after 4 weeks, if it's still skewed this way, then we might have a problem.